making headlines. The Met Office issues a forecast for heavy rainfalls and strong winds over the weekends, urging residents to be cautious. The President appoints Hassan Zarir as the Commissioner General of Taxation at MIRA. The President's office announces that the President will depart for Antigua and Barbuda on May 24 to attend the SIDS conference. Welcome to the English News. I'm your host Malak Ahmad Fayaz. Now for the news in detail. The Maldives Meteorological Service Met Office issues a forecast for heavy rainfalls and strong winds over the weekends, urging to be cautious of the unfavorable severe weather conditions. The Maldives Police Service MPS has also cautioned against the heavily adverse weather conditions, advising residents to refrain from visiting uninhabited islands and going to the beach. The Met Office reports severe inclement weather conditions, especially in the northern and central region of the nation. It further anticipates an increase in sea levels ranging between 7 feet and 10 feet. Winds will also be strong, ranging from 18 to 28 meters per hour, and gusts between 45 and 50 meters per hour are expected, along with gusts up to 60 meters per hour within clouds and very rough seas as well. Stressing that the northern and central regions of the country are expected to face particularly severe weather, the Met Office and MPS has advised seafarers to hold travelling unless it is vital. It additionally urges seafarers to take necessary safety precautions. Additionally, MPS also advised residents to refrain from visiting uninhabited islands, beaches and other coastal regions as well. The orange alert, in effect from Halif Atoll to Waw Atoll, forecasts heavy rains and winds between 34 and 40 meters per hour, with gusts up to 60 meters per hour within clouds and very rough seas. The alert was issued between 800 hours and 1100 hours. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu appoints Hassan Zarir as the Commissioner General of Taxation at the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA, during a special ceremony held at the President's office. This appointment follows the approval of Zarir's appointment by the Parliament on May 13th. Prior to this role, Zarir served as the Deputy Commissioner General of Taxation, showcasing his extensive experience in tax and audit-related positions spanning over 24 years. Moreover, Zarir's professional journey is marked by significant roles, including his most recent position as the Director of Finance and Group Chief Compliance Officer at Villa Shipping and Trade Company Private Limited. Additionally, he briefly served as the Chairperson of the Bank of Maldives BML from March 7 to 23rd. His diverse experience in various financial and compliance roles underpins his capability to lead MIRA effectively. His professional qualifications further include Fellow Chartered Management Accountant, FCMA, Chartered Global Management Accountant, CGMA, and Certified Practicing Accountant qualifications from Australia, highlighting Zarir's comprehensive expertise and commitment to this field, positioning him well to navigate the complexities of taxation and revenue management in the Maldives. The President's office announces that President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu will depart for Antigua and Barbuda on May 24 to attend the 4th Conference of Small Island Developing States, SIDS, which will be held from May 27 to 30th. The invitation to the conference was extended to President Dr. Muizzu by Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown, during their meeting at the COP28 summit. Speaking at a press conference, Chief Spokesperson Hina Walid confirmed that President Dr. Muizzu will address the conference and meet with various international leaders to discuss strengthening bilateral relations. She said that the President is scheduled to make 7 statements during the event. The theme of this year's SIDS conference is Work Courageously to Achieve Prosperity. In addition to participating in the conference, the Maldives will organize 3 related events to highlight the country's challenges and needs. Accompanying President Dr. Moizu will be Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir, Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy Tariq Ibrahim, Minister of Housing, Land and Urban Development Dr. Ali Haidar Ahmad, Managing Director of the Housing Development Corporation HDC, Ibrahim Fazul Rashid, and Ambassador at Large Dr. Ali Nasir Muhammad. Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif expresses confidence that the incoming parliament will be highly successful and serve as a testament to public welfare and gain. These remarks were made following the approval of Abdul Rahim Abdullah as the Speaker of Parliament and Ahmad Nazim as the Deputy Speaker of Parliament by the contested parliamentarians of the People's National Congress PNC. Moreover, President Dr. Mohammad Moizu, who also serves as the President of PNC, held a meeting with all contested parliamentarians from PNC at the President's house. During this meeting, President Moizu presented the names of the contested parliamentarians, fulfilling his role as the party leader. He specifically put forward Abdul Rahim Abdullah for Speaker of Parliament and Ahmad Nazim for Deputy Speaker of Parliament. These nominations were further unanimously approved by the PNC parliamentary group. The swearing ceremony for the incoming parliament is scheduled for May 28th, with the PNC having secured a supermajority. Following the ceremony, the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Parliament will appoint individuals to various positions, with the appointments being determined by secret vote. 66 contested candidates successfully secured their seats with the PNC ticket in the incoming parliament. Additionally, 7 independently contested parliamentarians have joined PNC, bringing the total number of PNC parliamentarians to 74. Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, Tariq Ibrahim affirms comprehensive discussions will be held in the 4th Conference of Small Island Developing States (SIDS) pertaining to the financial assistance to combat the impacts of climate change in small nations. The SIDS conference is a significant conference held once in every 10 years. President Dr. Mohammad Moizu will depart for Antigua and Barbuda on May 24 to attend the conference, which will be held from May 27 to 30th. Providing insights on the SIDS conference, Minister Tariq revealed plans to discuss the provision of financial aid for small and developing countries, overcoming the devastating effects caused due to climate change. Highlighting that the Maldives will be organizing 3 activities for the conference, the minister disclosed that the Maldives will shed light on the adaptation issues within the nation and projects which can be launched with a public-private partnership in the national side event. He additionally stated that the side events will outline how technology can be utilized to strengthen the progress of the projects and other measures implemented in the nation. Speaking regarding the conference, Special Envoy for Climate Change Ali Sharif asserted that the conference will advocate for amending the policies in which the financial assistance is provided to small countries. He stated that the international authorities, multilateral banks and nations which provide aid often provide the financial assistance depending on the gross national income (GNI) and the gross domestic product (GDP) index. The 4th SIDS conference will focus on strategies to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, along with other significant issues. A total of 39 countries are members of the SIDS. Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Hussein states that the aggressive attacks by the Israeli military on Gaza pose a threat to global peace and security. He made these remarks at the Global Security Forum in Qatar. Speaking at the forum, Minister Hussein emphasized that the Israeli attacks on Palestine deeply resonate with every Maldivian citizen. He highlighted that the Maldives, as an Islamic nation committed to peace and security, will continue to advocate for the people of Gaza as long as the attacks persist. Additionally, Minister Hussein condemned the actions of the Israeli military against Palestinians, labeling them as inhumane. He said that the attacks have hindered efforts to establish global peace and security endangering worldwide stability. He also urged the international community to prevent Israel from occupying Palestinian land. The Global Security Forum is addressing various threats to global security, including changes in the global supply chain, climate change, food security, and the exploitation of some countries by others. The forum is attended by experts and ministers from around the world. Minister of Health Dr. Abdullah Khalil departs on an official trip to Geneva, Switzerland, to partake in the 36th Commonwealth Health Ministers meeting. The Commonwealth is an international association comprising 56 member states, designed to provide a significant platform for small countries to voice their opinions and discuss the challenges they face across diverse fields. Moreover, the 36th Commonwealth Health Ministers meeting, held in conjunction with the World Health Assembly meetings, is scheduled for May 24th to 25th. This two-day convention will serve as a platform to discuss developmental strategies for the health sector and address challenges in providing healthcare provisions. In addition to health, the Maldives has also participated in the 22nd Commonwealth Education Ministers meeting, which took place from May 16th to 17th. This convention was attended by Minister of Education, Dr. Ismail Shafiu, representing the Maldives. Maldives rejoined the Commonwealth on February 1st, 2020, reinstating its participation in this significant international association. The Ministry of Finance records an increase in state revenue so far this year compared to last year. The weekly fiscal development report released by the Finance Ministry showed that the state had received $860 million in revenue as of May 16 this year, marking a fourth increase, and the $820 million received during the same period last year. The statistics show that the tax revenue constituted the largest portion of the state's income during this period, amounting to $707 million, up from $630 million last year. Non-tax revenue also rose to $2.1 billion. In addition, the state received more in free grants this year, with $6 million as of May 16th compared to $4 million last year. The report also shows a significant decline in government expenditure during this period, with expenditures totaling $966 million, down from $1 billion in the same period last year. The government is implementing measures to increase revenue and reduce expenditure, contributing to a rapidly growing economy. Officials have expressed optimism about the future economic outlook, citing the positive impact of these measures. Israf Vehingenadi initiates discussions with the Ministry of Islamic Affairs to organize religious programs specifically for elderly citizens. The discussion centered on the feasibility of hosting a monthly religious event at Israf Vehingenadi, an institution developed by the Ministry of Social and Family Development to enhance the mental and physical well-being of individuals over 55. The meeting took place at the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, where the content and objectives of the proposed programs were thoroughly reviewed. The ministry committed to supporting various religious activities, including the Risalat program, Q&A sessions, religious quiz competitions, and a Holy Quran competition. While a formal agreement is still pending, there are plans to begin these programs promptly. Both the Ministry of Islamic Affairs and Israf Vehingenadi aims to foster a spiritually enriching environment for the elderly in the Maldives. The government emphasizes that such initiatives are part of a broader effort to provide equal opportunities in social affairs, ensuring no segment of society is excluded, according to the Islamic Ministry. The Ministry of Fisheries and Ocean Resources announces that registration is now open for the Kanduro Diufa Festival, organized to celebrate World Ocean Day. World Oceans Day will be celebrated on June 8th, and the ministry is hosting this festival as part of the celebrations. The festival, which features a carnival-like atmosphere, aims to educate children and young people through engaging activities, sports and other interactive events. It will be held at the beach area in Hurumale Phase 1. Participation in the festival is open to institutions, clubs, associations and individuals. Interested parties are encouraged to submit their completed application forms by May 30th. The ministry is also collaborating with local councils and organizations to facilitate beach activities on various islands across the country. To further commemorate Oceans Day, an essay writing competition and a drawing competition will be held. There will also be a social media campaign to share information about the country's shoreline. South Korea's presidential office says that South Korean, Chinese and Japanese leaders will hold their first trilateral summit in nearly 5 years next week in Seoul. President Yoon Suk-yeol will meet Chinese Premier Li Qiang and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in the South Korean capital, Seoul's Deputy National Security Director Kim Tae-hyo told reporters. Kim added that Yoon will hold separate bilateral talks with Lee and Kishida on Sunday. He said that the three leaders are also scheduled to attend a business summit and encourage business people from the three countries. The last time leaders of the three nations met was in 2019, in part due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but also because of diplomatic and historical disputes between South Korea and former colonial ruler Japan. Legal disputes over Japan's 1910-45 rule over the Korean peninsula persist between the two countries. But with the increase in threat posed by nuclear-armed Pyongyang, South Korea's Yoon has moved to bury the historical hatchet with Japan while strengthening ties with long-standing ally Washington. In August last year, Seoul, Tokyo and Washington announced a new chapter of close three-way security cooperation after a historic summit at Camp David in the United States, US. At the time, Beijing lodged complaints over a statement released at the summit in which the three allies criticized China's aggressive behavior in the South China Sea. Yoon last year said tensions over Taiwan were due to attempts to change the status quo by force. The announcement of the new trilateral summit came a day after Beijing reportedly summoned South Korean and Japanese diplomats to discuss issues about Taiwan. China is South Korea's biggest trade partner, but it remains North Korea's most important economic benefactor and diplomatic ally. G7 finance ministers gather in Italy for a three-day meeting dominated by plans to use Russian assets to help Ukraine, as well as new sanctions on Moscow and the commercial threat posed by China. The ministers and central bankers from the group of 7 world powers are meeting in Stresa on the shores of northern Italy to prepare for a larger summit of G7 heads of state next month in Puglia. Top of the agenda is a plan to finance crucial aid to Ukraine using the interest generated by 300 billion euros of Russian central bank assets frozen by the G7 and Europe. The United States, US has proposed granting Ukraine, which has been fighting a Russian invasion for more than 2 years, up to $50 billion in loans secured by this interest. The details of the US plan have not yet been finalized, including who would issue the debt, the US alone or G7 countries as a whole. But it will serve as a basis for G7 discussions, according to a treasury source in Italy, which as G7 president this year is hosting the Stresa talks. The US proposal is an interesting way forward, but any decision must have a solid legal basis, the source said. Time is of the essence, and the slow pace and the slow speed of European material reaching Kiev and the near halt in US aid for months during wrangling in Washington have strained Ukraine's capabilities, just as Russia has regained the initiative on the ground. In addition to the United States and Italy, the G7 includes Britain, Canada, France, Germany and Japan. The European Union took a first step in agreeing a deal this month to seize revenues from frozen Russian assets to arm Ukraine, a windfall that will reach 2.5 to 3 billion euros a year. Yellen had initially advocated a more radical solution, the confiscation of the Russian assets themselves. Spurs boss Ange Postecoglou is keen to beef up his attack ahead of the new Premier League season, with his first priority a decision on whether to make Timo Werner's loan move permanent.
We kind of got on top of them apart from the goals.
The Australian steered Tottenham to 5th place in Europa League qualification in his 5th year in charge and said changes would be needed to build on the achievement when the new campaign starts in August. After a post-season friendly against Newcastle in Melbourne, where Spurs lost 5-4 on penalties after the game ended 1-1, Postecoglou pinpointed the front line as a priority. German winger Werner joined Spurs on loan from Bundesliga club RB Leipzig in January and contributed 2 goals and 3 assists in 14 appearances before an injury ended his season early. The London club have an option to buy Werner, with Postecoglou saying a deadline had been set on a decision. Postecoglou added that he was confident he would be able to keep all the players he wanted when the transfer window opens next month, with a plan already in place for the new season. He said that whether that all comes together, they just never know, but having clarity about what they need to do, he thinks helps the process. One player who will be at Spurs again next year is playmaker James Maddison, who was called up to England's Euro 24 squad this week and scored against Newcastle to celebrate. Maddison, who transferred from Leicester last summer, said that Tottenham can achieve big things under Postecoglou after his first year of working with the Australian. Maddison said after the match that the first season of any new project is always challenging and it has its ups and downs. He said that he is really enjoying working for him genuinely and he thinks they can achieve big things hopefully. Thousands of tech enthusiasts file into Europe's self-declared biggest startup event, Viva Tech in Paris, with artificial intelligence stealing the show this year. Over 4 days, the event, now in its 8th year, will host more than 150,000 guests, 11,000 startups and 450 speakers according to the organizers. The star turns will take to the stage on Thursday. Former U.S. climate envoy and Secretary of State John Kerry is expected to make a push for green tech revolution, and billionaire Tesla, SpaceX and Exxon Elon Musk will appear via video link to answer audience questions. Alongside dire warnings from critics that sentient AI could take over the world, the technology uses vast energy resources. Firms like OpenAI, which use publicly available information for their programs, are widely accused of copyright and privacy breaches, most recently apologizing to actor Scarlett Johansson after appearing to use her voice for their chatbot. As guests squashed into the Paris Conference Center, a slew of startups began giving presentations and making pitches for funding. On AI Alley, firms from France to South Korea demonstrated how AI can be deployed for anything from controlling devices in the home hand movements to fighting against disinformation. Dima Gazda, CEO of US startup Esper Bionics, showed off his firm's innovative robotic limbs tailored to an individual's needs by AI. Established players like ChatGPT, maker of OpenAI, Anthropic and Mistral, will take to the main stages to outline their latest innovations. In the face of this AI tsunami, said Ben Wood of CCS Insight, companies should be careful not to overwhelm their potential customers. The event regularly attracts major political figures, with EU heavyweights Thierry Breton and Charles Michel expected to attend. That's all the news we have for today. Thank you all for watching.